something big is coming to your television on Thursday night. Unfortunately, it's not the NBA Finals or Seinfeld reunion or maybe a Friends reunion. No, in fact, it's the live production of the January 6th hearings, because Democrats are headed for a landslide loss in the midterm elections, and they are going to push these January 6th hearings as hard as they can. So they are going to put them in primetime television. Here's Michael Tracy on Twitter. He said it nicely. Democrats aim to motivate voters this November by highlighting their only two policy achievements: tediously dramatizing January 6th and standing with Ukraine. I know it sounds like reductive. Is that the right word? But that's absolutely accurate. They have nothing else to stand on right now. It would be interesting if Democrats could come out and say, hey, remember that Build Back Better plan? All of those roads and bridges that we said we were going to fix? Did that get fixed? Remember those lowering prescription drug prices? Fixing education, healthcare in the United States? All of those things we ran on.
Preschool. Yeah,
pre-K, student loans. I mean, all of the stuff that they talked about, the squad talked about. None of it. So January 6th, here's how ridiculous this has become. So Democrats and two Republicans are on this committee, and they want to put this in primetime television. So it's going to be on all the major broadcast networks. It's going to be on NBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, and Fox is not going to do it.
Yes.
Fox is like, oh, we're not going to do it. Like Tucker.
We don't want anything to do with that.
No, Tucker's show, by the way, it gets huge ratings. So Tucker's like, no, we're just going to do our monologue and screw you. We're going to do our thing. We'll have a summation of it, and we're going to do our own thing. But all the other networks, MSNBC, they're all going to be airing these primetime versions of this, just like the Watergate hearings. So they were live during the day during Watergate, and then they rebroadcast them at night because millions of people wanted to see these hearings about Richard Nixon being impeached or fired, So this is how big of a deal it is to the January 6th committee that they have now hired an executive from ABC's Good Morning America. Okay, here's the guy. This was a scoop from Axios. They hired the producer from ABC. This is Goldston, and he is a former executive with ABC's Good Morning America. He did Nightline. He did a whole bunch of primetime investigative pieces. So they brought him on board because they want to produce the shit out of this thing. You hire a big television producer because you want to draw in viewers, and they want to make this thing as palatable as possible. Just remember, folks, they used your taxpayer dollars to hire this guy, to hire a television producer to produce the January 6th committee. Okay, Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, was not happy about this. Kevin McCarthy tweeted this. He said, the Democrats have turned the former ABC News executive, under whose leadership ABC spiked a story on you-know-who, to choreograph their January 6th political theater. See, if I mention his name, unfortunately, what happens is we get demonetized, unfortunately. ABC, of course, you might remember this. Here's the letter that Kevin McCarthy actually sent in 2019 to the head of ABC at the time, who is now going to be heading up this committee hearings. And here it is. Let's take a closer look. I think we have the full letter. Do we have the letter or no? Maybe we don't. I thought we did.
I don't have the full letter. No.
Okay, no worries. So anyway, he basically says, hey, ABC, you guys totally spiked the story on that you guys had on Mr. Epstein. Mm-hmm. I said it anyway. And you guys spiked the story. You had the story. Amy Rohrbach at ABC acknowledged that you had the story. You had the details on this, right? And you didn't do it. You didn't run the story. Why didn't you do it? And now this is the very same guy that for political purposes, like spiked that story, is now going to be in charge of broadcasting to the nation how everything looks and appears on your television screen. So,
well, I mean, we have the saying political theater for a reason.
Right.
This is it, right? We're going to get it. I think it's worth remembering that Congressional investigative committees don't really have the power to indict people or to, so this is just like, it's what it says. It's investigative. They can make recommendations that law enforcement agencies do something about any of this wrongdoing. But, so far that hasn't amounted to a whole lot. So we'll see exactly what, it does seem like a lot of grandstanding.
So, and it's all about power. You're right about that. Although it's showing power, it's showing, and it's trying to make the other party look bad on television, right?
Yes.
You're going to try to make Trump. It's going to be a lot of trying to make Trump look bad, Trump voters look bad, et cetera, et cetera. That's how they're going to position this. That it's MAGA. That's exactly how they're going to try to do this. Because honestly, they have nothing else to go on right now to win the midterm elections. They're hoping that this is the thing,
right? And they need some memes out of this.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. They need like little TikTok videos and things like that people can post. So here was Kevin McCarthy. He also wrote an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal just the other day about all of this theater that's going to be unfolding on your televisions. And he says, rather than operating openly, the Select Committee on January 6th is working behind closed doors and selectively leaking cherry-picked information. When it has presented some evidence in public, the committee has been caught deliberately altering documents, including a text message pertaining to one of us, to malign conservatives. Really? Altering text messages to prove their point? Yes. Take a look at this. This is the story that covered this. January 6th committee admits to altering text message between Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan. January 6th committee admitted that it changed a text message between former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Representative Jim Jordan, excluding relevant context about how they wanted then Vice President Mike Pence to handle electoral votes. Oh, so you can just go in and change text messages as part of your investigation?
If it fits,
If
sure.
it fits. Well, they've also, we learned today, going after Twitter. So the January 6th committee, when we talk about power and grabbing power, they're going after Twitter. Twitter's not happy about it. So here's how the Rolling Stone broke the story, actually. The January 6th committee wants Twitter's internal Slack messages. They want to know what was going on behind the scenes at Twitter, a private company, well, a public company, but a company nonetheless, not part of government. Like what was going on behind the scenes on Twitter during what was happening at the Capitol. Glenn Greenwald wrote a great piece about the abuse of power. You should all go and read it on his Substack. But he then tweeted this on Twitter. He said, the 6th committee has abused its power in all sorts of ways. There's a real question about whether it has exceeded constitutional limits on Congress' investigative power by even existing. But this attempt to obtain Twitter's internal communications illustrates how extremist it's been. Now, if you needed any more evidence that this is all about politics, then look no further than Liz Cheney, one of 2 Republicans on this committee. She was asked about the attacks and specifically was asked, is this a conspiracy? Here's how she responded to CBS.
Conspiracy?
I think certainly, I mean, look, if you look at the court filings,
Do you believe it was a conspiracy?
I do. It is extremely broad. It's extremely well organized. It's really chilling.
Then today we learned this about Liz Cheney. Some of the very people that that are one of the witnesses subpoenaed by her committee. She also then tried to extract campaign cash from the Federalist. Take a look at this. So that's good. So you can try to get campaign money from the very witnesses that are subpoenaed to come before your committee.
Okay.
So go to the Federalist to read that. So again, this is all theatrics and dog and pony show, like arresting or indicting Peter Navarro, who wasn't there, had nothing to, arguably nothing to do with it. Putting him in shackles. The amount of the massive dragnet. Like I think what happened on that day was abhorrent. Right?
Sure.
Absolutely abhorrent. Like should never have happened. But then the massive dragnet that unfolded, like arresting people's moms or, investigating mothers of different people all across the country. Think about the manhunt and the involvement there. And then think about just the violence and the bloodshed that we see in our cities across the United States. We had 10 mass shootings in this weekend in Philadelphia, and Chattanooga, and this is what these law enforcement officials are focused on?
Right, or what they want you to see them doing.
Right.
And so, I think we are being invited to participate in this, and I think it's important that we not sort of give them too much credit for due diligence at this point because, it does seem very self-serving.
Yeah. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. We've been banned, we've been blocked, we've been censored. That's why we started our own website, to stay connected with you for free.
That's right. So head on over to redacted.inc and make sure you're connected with us. You can sign up again at redacted.inc, not .com.